video, and this will be the last video, I promise you guys, whereby I will be adding those questions. Obviously this is just text, but then we'll be adding the questions here, down here underneath this input field. And if you guys are keen and ready for this, please like, share and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell, because I'll be dropping more videos. Comment down below what builds do you guys want, and I'll definitely do that. So where we left it off is I could ask a question and say what are the best books to learning Python, for example. And then I can ask that question, and then I'll get an alert that that question is asked, right? So now the key is to get all those questions and then put them right here, right? So how then we do this is we have this URL that we built, remember, and then on this use effect we are getting this data. So right, I think this is something that I was testing out, so let's just start it over again with you guys. So let's say that use effect, and then I want the const URL, yep, and in this URL, did I build it last time? But then it's fine, localhost 5000 /API/ and then I need the route of that question, which is, this is not applicable because this was just for testing purposes. Now I need all questions, right? And then I paste that there. So now what I then do is I say axios.get, I want to get that URL, and then I want to pass the with credentials, set that to true, and then you'll bring back a promise that then response, and then I'll log out that response so that we can see, and then if there's any errors, let us catch those errors, right? Print out those errors. So now by this we should be getting back the data that we want. Right, if we look at that, here is the data that we want, 3 questions, right? We have those 3 questions. So now how we want to deal with this question is want to display them right here at the center. So I don't have a design to this, or let's see Quora, how Quora is doing it. But then my aim here is not to really copy Quora in full, but then to get their functionalities, because that is key here for you and for me to learn the functionalities, the underlying functionalities here. So looks like things are just wrapped inside like a white box and all, sort of like a subtle box shadow, not that much, so that the boxes pop out, the cards pop up. I think this is what's happening, I might be wrong, but then let's just give it something of that flavor as well, right? And then we also have the image and the name of the person, right? So now that's what we'll try and implement. So now instead of doing that, we'll say set questions to response.data. Right, so now how we then start is, let's do that. We want to say if questions are there, right, and I'll say question list, let's say questions, that's all, yeah. And then I want to say questions.map, and I want to map each question, and then I want to return some JSX, whereby I'll say question, right? So the question has this person here, so which is a container holding this 2 displaying flags, but in this container displaying column for this person and the question and the upvotes and downvotes. So I won't be handling the comment part, this thing I'll be leaving to you guys, and if you guys want me to do that for you, let's get this what we call video to 20 likes, and I'll definitely bring that to you guys. So let's say profile, and then in this profile we want to use that avatar thing that we have. So we say source, come on man, so we say source. The source should be question.owner underscore image, and then alt is the user profile. Remember, always key, we want to have that too, question._id, and then we also want the name of this user, let's say h4, which will be the question.owner. So this is from MongoDB, remember guys. So there we go, we're having the users images and their names, right? So now what we want to do is we now want to have the question, the question info, question underscore info. So in this question underscore info, we want the question itself. Yep, there's some bad class names, but then I don't have anything better. So yeah, we'll be having question dot question. Right, so now that should be the question. What is the best way to improve human stack? Why is Python so loved? What are the what we call continuing is now we have this name and the profile image, and what we did here is we have a div here, and that we're getting the name and the owner, and then we're having the questions down there. So right now we want another class which will be question underscore stats, right? So in the question underscore stats we'll have the likes, and in the likes we want to have the thumbs up icon, and then we'll also put an h4, come on IntelliSense, we'll put an h4 that will be the question dot up votes, and then let's have the dislikes, and then for that we'll have the thumbs down icon and have an h4 which will be question dot down votes, right? So that should be working for us. And right, I don't know what's happening with this. Do that, we kill that from here and remove that style ship. Right, so if I refresh that, should be good to go. There we go. So now we have those things there, and we'll put the comment, but then remember you guys will be doing that, and if you guys get this video to what we call 20 likes, then we'll definitely do that together, right? So now we have that here. With that said and done, we have that here. So now what we want to do right now is we want to style this thing, right? So now how do you style this thing? I'm not really gonna be following Quora's layout or anything. I'll be bringing in my own flavors, guys. The aim is functionality, remember, styling, and you can like what we call if you keen to like getting the exact same style as Quora, and then be my guest, and I'll be keen to seeing how you guys get that exact copy. If you guys pull it off. Right, so now we have that CSS there. So now first thing that we want to do is we want to take this question here, because this is the one, not this one, but like this one I believe, and I want to display flex, and then flex direction of column, and then I want to align items center. Right, and what's happening, does not match corresponding name on in disk. Oh yeah, so the capital letter I, for some reason I gave a capital letter I don't know guys. Alright, why is it looking like a zigzag here? Okay, we'll see what happens. Margin, top that, and then let's bring it let's say 3 rems. Let's say 4 rems. Right, and then this, okay, so a quick check if I'm doing the correct thing here with flex. I go to my inspect, it's a very useful tool, and then I bring out that div, and then I'm interested in the questions list, and that questions definitely should be the one that's displaying flex, because these are the children that are following behind and all that. So yeah, so it's something that I like to check. So let's see this. Alright, so that's no problem, let that stay there. We'll handle things in a different way, you guys will see. So now let's come to questions, right? So the same thing, I want to display flex to that. I want to flex direction of column. And one thing that I want to do, instead of and I think, so that we know that things are from the newest, we column reverse. Why am I column? Okay, no. I thought this would column reverse. Okay, this is doing something wrong, and that will have to me doing the logic. I was thinking something else. I'm sorry for that, guys. It is me thinking something else. I thought that would work. And then what I want to do now is I want to align items center. Right. So now we have that. Now that is aligning properly. Right. So now what I want to do is we want to deal with the background. Background color. Background color, let that to be white. So now what I want to do is there's this thing that I like for box shadows. So hopefully this will give me a subtle box shadow, like a card form, nice, nothing extreme. Maybe something like this or this. Let's see what would work nicely. I don't want even the shadows to be showing up. Maybe something like that. Maybe something like that would do for me. Alright, so let's say box shadow. Box shadow, put that box shadow there. Alright, let's go check it out. Let's refresh that. Alright, it's looking so light. It's very subtle, very subtle. Not sure if you guys can see that. It's very subtle. And then I want to do that. Oh no, that's not what I want, because I'm putting the box shadow in each and everything. I'm sorry guys, I want to put the box shadow within the question with a small letter. Yeah, that's where I want to put things. and then also give it a background color of white. That's where I want to put my box shadow. It's very subtle. It's very, very subtle. I thought you guys can see, or maybe let me try get something that will be visible, maybe something like this. It's just that I don't want it to be too much because it will look ugly. Definitely, if it's too much, it will look ugly. To refresh that, I think maybe this should do, and then okay, let's try get maybe something thicker that would be visible. Things I'm trying to avoid having the shadow. I don't want to see the shadow. Maybe I could get this one, but I didn't want something like this. I just okay, let's see how this one looks. You know what's happening here? No man, like this thing's one the same thing. Why am I being crazy? Yeah. Okay, it's like I myself cannot even see this box shadow here. Okay, let's just get something that we'll see, guys. Even though that was not my plan, let's get something that will be visible. Okay, something like that. That is more visible to the eye. But then the aim wasn't to get something visible, to be honest, but then we live with it. And then let's margin bottom, let's say 3 rems, so that we get a spacing from each and every one. And then I want to give it a width of, let's say, 60%. That should do. And then by that said and done, I want to margin 0 auto, but then also also bring this margin bottom back here so I have that centered, right? So 60% is very small. If you are going to add images, let's say 80%, and then that should do you justice, right? So now what we want to do next is we want to deal with this profile picture. We want to margin top that, let's say 1.5 frames. We display flex, and then we align item center so that they nicely align to the name and the image. And then what we do next is we want to float another question. Okay, let me see something. I'll tell you if what I'm thinking is correct. I'll tell you guys if what I'm thinking. Okay, what am I thinking actually? Let's take that and then float. Okay, why isn't this working? Either way we leave. Okay, I don't know what I was even thinking, but then now we have that. So also in the image you want to have a margin bottom, say margin bottom of 1 rem. That should do. And then within this question we want to give this a class name. Oh no, let's just grab this h4. So we'll say question profile. When I say h4, what kind? No, I say margin to the left of 1 rem, and then we push that there to the side. So now let's get to the question info, right? So this question that we want So this question info first thing must be displaying flex, and then flex direction of column. So this is just some standard, even though we had that behavior. I don't know, it's just a normality for me to do that. It's just a normality. So now we want to margin this question, margin bottom, let's say 1 rem, that should do. And I want to display flex of this stats, right? So I want to grab that, I want to say display flex, and then want to align items so that they're aligned properly. And then we have that. However, we want to justify content space around, and then that is looking just fine in my eyes. I don't know why the spacing arounds differ. See that there's more spacing here, I don't know, flex box. So now we have that said and done. So we can just, for flair, even though this was not necessary, what I'm about to do, I can do that, and then have that, and then have an on hover, and then I want to transform, and then scale 1.1. That means here I want to add a transition, so just for flair guys, and transform, and then 0.4 seconds. This was really not necessary, but then you can see now we have that going on here. So right, so now we have this. So now what we want to do is we want to add this thing to be real time now. So we're now displaying this whole thing. We want to add this thing to be real time. So but then let's just have an on hover for this icons first, and also lining them up properly. So what we want to do is we want to say display flex for me, and then align items center, right? So that should do. So I also want to do the same thing for this one. So for this one, I just copy that class and then comma, so that I don't repeat myself. Programming, use the principle of try, which is don't ever repeat yourself. So in the stats, I also want to have a margin bottom of, let's say, 1 rem, so that there's a space to breathe, man. Like you see now, there's a space to breathe for those icons. So now let's have on hover for these icons. For the likes, when you hover on it, I want to give it a color of blue, and then for the dislikes, when you hover, I want to give it a color of red, and then for the comments, when you hover, I want to give it a color of green yellow. Alright, nothing fancy, just some hovering effect. Alright, so now we wanna have this thing to be real time now. So now I have the layout of this whole thing. We wanna have this thing to be real time. So what then we do, we can close this thing. MongoDB, I don't need anymore. So now you wanna come here on pusher.com. So create an account. So rocket science, it's very simple. So create an account, and then you'll be faced with this. So obviously you guys won't be having this channels here. So but then now, if you do have those channels, what you want to do, and if you don't, there'll be get started. So you want to manage your things if you have channels, and then you want to press the create app. So I want to make an app, let's say Quora clone, and then you want to choose your cluster. I don't see a reason for changing myself. And if you're going to deploy this thing, it's best practice to have the development and production and staging, right? So you want to have, choose the front end that you're using. We're using React, and then you want to choose the back end that we are using, which is Node.js. So you want to create your app. So let's create that. So now we have created the app. Now we're given code snippets. So now while we're doing that, so now let's come here and say npm install pusher for the back end, and then that's what we are also given here. So now what you want to do is you want to take this whole entire code, and then when you take that entire code, what you want to do is you want to take it here, and then you want to say, and why did I stop that pusher, man? Let's say npm install pusher. So let that install. So I don't know why I stopped that thing. So when I take that this code is coming from pusher, this is what we need. So I won't really be putting this in the .env, because at the end, when this video ends, I'll definitely delete this thing. Right, so now pusher is there. So now I don't know why I deleted initially. So now let's make this using ES6. Let's import using ES6. We say import pusher from pusher. And then I'll also need mongoose. You guys will see why I need mongoose. Right, so now we have that what we need. So now what we want to do is we want to say const db is equals to mongoose. Come on, man. Const mongoose dot connection. Right, so we want to say db questions collection is equals to db dot collection, and that collection was questions collection, no questions models. Right, so now with questions models, this is what we have. So now what we want to do is we want to say db dot once, this thing is open, I want to return a callback. Right, so what I want to do is I want to say log, let's make sure that this works. I want to say log mongo db ready for interaction. Right, let's save that. Let's see. So yeah, when db is open, we want to see that mongo is ready for interaction. That's there we go. So mongodb ready for interaction. So now we can cancel that out because we know that that works now. So now what we want to do is we want to have a change stream for our collection. So a change stream is what we'll be using to watch our MongoDB for any changes, right? So now we want to say change stream dot on change. We want to have a callback that will be having a callback function taking a parameter of change. You can add anything, Superman, anything, but then it's just logical to use change so that your code makes actual sense. So let's log out this change. Let me show you guys what this change is. So this change will only occur if there's a change within that collection, and what will trigger that change is when we send a question. So let's send a question, and let's say the popular question is C++ worthy to be lent in 2021. One of the popular questions. Let's send that request back there. And then now you see this log is the change that occurred within our database. And then now we are getting the full document. And then there's the question, is C++ with to be lent in 2021? And then we have, it's also ID, and then the main thing is the operation type, which is insert. All right, so now let's just do that. So now what we want to do is we want to have that come back real time. So now when this change occurs, we want to say pusher dot trigger, and the trigger wants a channel, so the channel will be questions, and then the event, it is insertion, and then it will take in a data that it has to trigger. So what we want to send back to the user is this full document, because remember our what we call our front end is taking in the ID, the upvotes, downvotes, and the owner image, and so on and so forth, right? So that's what we want to take. So however, because it might happen that the operation types that you are having within your app is different, so you'll say if change dot, okay, so what's happening here? Oh man, I'm running a logic here. So what I want to do is, before I trigger, remember, before we trigger, we just don't want to trigger anything. I want to say if change dot operation type is equal to insert. You see, even the IntelliSense, it gives you all IntelliSense. We want to check for insert. That's why I want to say pusher dot trigger, and then we want to trigger the event. It is not the event, but then the channel is questions, and the event is insertion. And then now the data will say data dot change dot full document. So why not document key, man? Full document. So why full document? Because remember, this is what our client knows how to handle, right? So you wanna do that. So right now we're basically done with our back end. So now let's go back to yeah. So now I want to deal with the client. So before we even do anything, let's just kill that. Let's go to the client. So that while I copy this thing installs pusher-js. So that's what you want to install within your client. So let that install. So you want to copy this thing. If you want logs, you can have logs, but then take heed of this warning that enable this only, disable this only when you in production, but then when you're developing, you can enable that. All right, so let's copy that whole script. Let's go to the client. So now within the client components questions list, so now within the client I need that script, and that script must be buried within use effect. So within that use effect, I put that there, and it should be finishing right now so that I can install. I want to say const everything that has that. So my channel, remember my channel that we set there within MongoDB, not MongoDB, man, within Node.js is questions, and then the event is insertion, and then we want to change this to ES6 function, and then we want to alert that. So let's see that is installed. So I want to say import pusher from pusher-js, right? So we get that done. So now once that is set and done, I wanna go back and I wanna say npm run dev. Right, so now let's wait for our client to get started. Not our client, man, for our server to get started, and we can refresh this and our questions should come back to us, right? So now here is the moment of truth. So here we expect to get an alert of the message that we are getting, right? So let's ask a question. What is the best programming book for Python? All right, so we ask that question, we get an alert, we expect to get a second alert. There we go. So now we are getting that alert. This is the document that we have. So now we want to append this whole thing within the array. So now it is real time without us even filtering anything, right? So noting that we want to send back only this portion of the data, it means we want to say data dot data so that we can get the values instead of the whole entire object like this, because our object or our client cannot handle such thing. So okay, so this thing is running 1,000,000 of times. Why is it running 1,000,000 of times? Is because we need to have this not the arrow, I wanted to say arrow, but then that array, we need that array, hence it was running 1,000,000 of times, right? So we have that. What is the best programming book? So for us to avoid such interactions, we have that whole entire thing, and then what we want to do is now here we want to set questions, and then what we want to do is we want to have the data. Remember, we want to have it at the top. I want to say data, and then we're going to use the spread operator for questions, and then here we should work. Let's see. React hook missing dependencies, which is question. So here what it means here is we want to only render this when the questions change. So we want to put that questions there, and remember it was running a lot of times. That is because we were not unsubscribing from this pusher. So I want to return a callback function, and in this callback function I want to say channel dot unbind all. I want unbind all. I want to say channel dot unsubscribed. So because it was always rendering, hence we're getting that alert more than once, and now the warning is gone, right? So now let's ask one more question. So now this should be pegged on top of this. So let's say what is the best tech stack? Right, what is the best tech stack? And then we ask that question. We expect it to be put in the top, and then it is put right there at the top. Is it? Nope, it is put at the bottom. Why is it placed at the bottom? I don't know, because I placed that there. But then we're getting it real time. Let's just refresh. I just want it to be at the top, man. So but then as you can see, we're getting this real time. What is the best between min stack and min stack? So let's see if we can get that at the top. Why is it going at the bottom? I don't know. Why is it going there at the bottom? Because as you saw, the content is coming in real time. I didn't refresh the page or anything, but it's coming there at the bottom. Let's just try one more thing. I don't know why it's going there at the bottom, to be honest. Or maybe we replace. This shouldn't be the case, because if I put this one here, it should be starting. But then maybe my React is or my JavaScript is just poor, guys. I don't know. You guys comment down below. Or maybe I'm missing the fundamentals of JavaScript. Let's see. What makes Python the most go-to language? Right, so let's see if I oppose things. Either way, as you guys can see, this thing is coming in real time. I don't know what's happening with this thing. Oh, let's try one more thing. Because I don't know why they're not going at the top. But then let's try one more thing. One more thing that I'm thinking of doing is I say const new array, even though this is not the best way out. I say data.concat questions, right? And then I want to set questions to new array. This is not the best solution, guys, I promise you. This is just me trying out why it's not working, right? Because the spread operator, in my understanding, that should have been working the way I wanted it to be. What is new in PHP 8? I heard PHP 8 is out. Let's see. Okay, it's still going there at the bottom, guys. So but then as you can see, we are getting this thing real time. We're not updating or anything, we're not refreshing or anything. So I don't know why it's not going at the top. Meanwhile, the spread operator should be working the way it should be. It's not making sense though. Okay, but then let's use that spread operator. I believe that is the most best solution here, using the spread operator. So now what I want to do is, unless this is correct. I thought maybe, yeah, this is correct. So now, what is Rust? One more try, guys. I don't know what's happening now. Let me make sure data is up there at the top. So what is Rust? Let's put that like that. Let's ask that question. And we didn't refresh, but then it's going there at the bottom. Interesting. It's fine. So now let's go to dealing with the like system, right? The like system is a trickier part, which I don't have really that much optimal solution, but then let's try and see if I can find a more optimal solution. I don't know, but then let's try. So now what I mean by this is, in here, the thumb down icon on click, you want to have a dislike function, right? So but then want to make this an anonymous function so that we can pass in an ID to this thing. So we'll say question. Why do I have products in my head? When I say question dot underscore ID, so we want to do the very same thing, but then changing that to like in the thumbs up icon, changing that to like, and then let's make this functions. I'll say const dislike, and then that should take in an ID, and then let's alert the ID, and then I want to do the very same thing for like do that. So let's see if this works. We want to come here, there we go. Okay, let's have a cursor pointer for this thing. So I'll just do an inline styling, guys, because I'm lazy to go to that CSS. Just for the cursor, right? Nothing much. So cursor and then pointer, right? Just that's all that I wanted to do for this thing. I can also put that there. Nothing much, that's all I wanted to do. And why is it not working? Oh yeah, let's put it within the actual div that is holding that thing, right? And that means that I can remove it, yeah. And it means I can also remove it here, and also, yeah. And then let's see. Okay, I have that pointer. Let's see, dislike, it's doing what I want. I'm getting the IDs, right? So now let's go to the controller. Let's handle this system. Close the client questions. So what I want to do is I want to like, let's start with the like. So request response. So what I want to do is from this, yeah, let's use formidable to make our lives easy. Let's say form, because if that is not the case, then yeah, let's just use formidable. And then like that, let's use formidable. Even though this was not necessary, we could have used query strings parameters, but then I'm lazy to. And then what I want to do is I want to say try catch, return a response that status of 500.json. I'm gonna say network, let's say server still currently down. Let's copy that, bam. And then we come here, I want to say const, no, I want to form.parse the request that I get, any errors, any fields and files. if there are any, which there won't be. So if there's any error, I wanna return a response.status of 500.json with a message saying network error. Failed to like question, right? And then if there's no error, I expect to get the ID from this user coming in fields. And then we want to make this asynchronous because now we want to interact with MongoDB. I'll say const question is equals to await question model dot find one and update. I want to find one by underscore ID, whereby it's that ID. So I want to say question dot upvote plus equals to 1, and then I want to say const updated doc is equals to await. No man, this should not be update one, it should be find one, not update. And then I want to say, now I want to say question model dot find one and update. So now this is where I want to find one and update by underscore ID, whereby it's at ID. And then we want to pass in the object that we want to update it with, and then we want to set new to being true, right? So now with that said and done, that should do us justice. And then why is my const not working? Oh yeah, so it's not working here because I have this not as a proper object, hence I'm getting that error of my const, because I could see, man, my const are not dark blue. And then now I want to return a response.status of 200.json, and we'll say liked. So now basically the same logic applies for dislike. We just decrement right now. Instead of incrementing, we decrement. So we say dislike, and then here the same logic applies, but then now we want to say minus, and then we update, and then we say disliked. That's all. The same logic applies. Alright, so now let's test this out and see, even though this is not yet real time, and that is something which I'm even asking myself, how are we gonna pull that off? I don't know if we'll be able to pull that off. So what I want to do is I just want to say bring this back, router.that, and then this should be like, this should be dislike, right? And then passing in the request and response. So let's see. Let's go to questions, and then let's start with likes, right? So what I need first is the URL. Okay, I started with dislike, even though I said I'll start with like. So localhost 5000/API/dislikes, I don't know. And then I say Axios. Before Axios, I need to pass in that ID in the form data, and then I'll say new form data, say data.append ID, and pass in that ID. And then I say const data is equals to not like that, let's use promises. I'm lazy to use the rest. So when I say URL, pass in the data, and then we need the with credentials. That is always important. And then when I set that to true, and then we say dot then and then we want that response, and then with that response we say log the response that we need, and then we want to catch any trailing errors, and then we want to log that error there. Right, so we want to copy this whole entire logic, because the same applies for the like, but then we just have to change some few parameters there. From this dislikes, we change that to likes. Let's just make sure that it's likes, yes, and that is dislike instead of dislikes. So we say dislike, and then the appending is still the same, the rest is still the same. You see, it's just the same logic over and over again. So but then obviously right now it's not real time, but then let's just refresh that. Let's refresh. What's happening with my refresh now? What the hell is happening? Okay, there we go, we're refreshing. I don't know why it was not refreshing, guys. Like, but then if you guys are liking it so far, please like, share, and subscribe, and then comment down below what you guys will be interested in seeing, and I'll see if I can get that to you guys. So now let's try and like this page. Right, we like that. Let's see. Firefox cannot establish connection. What's happening here? Okay, that is pusher related. I don't want this thing that is pusher related. Okay, so the like is happening. What's happening with this thing? Hectic. What's happening with this thing? Okay, let's dislike that. Okay, hold on. We like that. We dislike that. Okay, so I'm incrementing in different places here. When I dislike, it was downvoting there. Oh, it makes sense why this thing is going back to minus. Okay. So remember, because we copied exactly within the controller, so we forgot to change this to downvotes. We forgot to change this to downvotes. Right. That should be changed to downvotes instead of oh, so that's why maybe I was getting errors in pusher. What is this now? Unhandled promise, rejection. This error, what async function to terminate. What is this error from? Yeah, that's why that thing was throwing errors back at me. Because okay, so I have asynchronous function that is occurring there, and that asynchronous that is happening there. Okay, so I'm using async in a proper way. Okay, so let's see. So hence those trailing errors in. I don't know what's happening with this push out, to be honest. I don't know. Okay, let's just test it out here on the main stack. Let's click that. Let's see what happens. Okay, we get an error. Nice. So response is not a response. Oh yeah, there's a typo by me. Response. Let's just copy that, and I'm sure there will be also an error on that. Let's copy that there. Right, let's start that again, and then we close there. We there, guys. We there. We just need some few touches there. We there, guys. We there. So let's like this thing. Let's see. And then now we're getting our 200 back. right? So we're getting our 200 back, and then liked, right? But then now that will only, okay, if I refresh, that's where I will see 2 likes there, because I liked initially, I just didn't get a response. So if I dislike, I get -1. So no, I shouldn't be minusing that, I should be plussing the downvotes. Yeah, I should be plussing the downvotes. Okay, so I don't know what's happening with my pusher there, with those errors failing to connect. I don't know, to be honest, I don't lie to you. So let's just do that, and then if I refresh, I should be getting that to being 0. And then right now if I send that, it is 1. And then if I do that, I get that there, and then a minus there. There we going, we're getting our content added nice and quick, guys. So if I click there, it's added, plus again, plus again. As you can see, no refresh, nothing. And then we have that minus there. Come on, man, why is this dislike not working? And then we have that there, so we can like, dislike, and if we refresh now, as you can see now, that's where I'm refreshing, the same contents are still applied within that whole entire system. That I just don't know why it is breaking on some my display flags, and I believe mainly it's because of this. So how we can circumvent that, that maybe you can guys explore. But then if you guys liked this video, we have this thing being real time. This app is real time. So if you guys liked this whole entire thing, I hope you guys please like, share, and subscribe. And we have that without refresh, guys. And how do you think about that? I can like this whole thing, no refresh, I like it again. We ain't gonna dislike. But then if you guys liked this whole entire video series, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be giving you guys more content. Just comment down below what you guys would like to see. I was thinking some React Native. I've not tried it. It will be really interesting to try React Native with you guys. So just comment down below what you think about that, and I'll see you guys on the next video.